I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Button Mappers, where we map out games, and we map out games, and we talk about games. Did I say map out twice?
It's a map out.
The triple
map outs.
The triple map edition, where today we're doing a game talk. And the great thing about game talk is we bring guests on, and our guest today is none other than the Bio Phoenix. What's up, Bio Phoenix?
Hello everyone, this is BioPhoenix here. Yeah, I'm sure you've all heard that a bunch of times, but I'm here, so what's good everyone?
Love that intro. And also, if you don't know Bio Phoenix, be sure to check him out. We'll have a card in the top right corner.
I have an announcement to make.
Okay, tell us, Alex.
I'm on a cell phone. I just wanted to get that out there because the audio quality may not be what we're used to. Hopefully it'll sound good.
Alex has changed his method for playing games. He's on a cell phone.
I'm going mobile gaming all the way.
It's going mobile. Here on Game Talk, we talk games, but before we talk games, we talk questions. We ask our viewers to leave questions in the comments. Is it redundant or ironic? Yes, but all the better. And the first questions come from a great friend of the show, Terry309. So he says, we know his question, but he's going to repeat it. What are our most hated video game characters ever? Name as many as possible.
Oh my god.
I have two for this.
What you got, Chris?
All right. So the first one is probably a very well-known one, is that I do not like Slippy Toad from Star Fox. I don't. Oh my god.
You don't have to, that's fine.
Yeah, no. It's just, he's so annoying, and like the voice, like every single game he's in, the voice is just irritating, and like it almost seems like he can't do anything for himself. Like you're always saving him all the time. And yeah, I know the other characters need saving too, but he's like super annoying and obnoxious about it. Like most of the time I just let him die.
I always thought Slippy was a girl.
I always thought Slippy was a girl too. I was just gonna say that.
I had to beat you to it. Yeah. Who's the other one?
The other one I was thinking of was Teddy from Persona 4. Now, I love this game. I really do. And I do love all the characters, but Teddy I just don't like at all. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the Persona games, if you played any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, without going too much into detail, he's just a very narcissistic, annoying character. And also whenever he's like doing the narration for like the battles of the first section of the game, oh my god. I just wish I could just turn the voice off.
Which is worse? Pre-mascot Teddy or mascot Teddy? Or post-mascot. That's what I mean.
Oh, in some aspects, I think the human version is worse because like I feel like he doesn't really like improve that much as the game goes on. Like he still acts like a narcissist, so I'm just like, yeah, don't like him.
I think he sucks.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't like that Teddy. I like it better when he's like a teddy bear, because then it makes, like if they're anthropomorphic, you can kind of get away with being annoying and weird.
Yeah.
But then when he's just like a person, it's not into it. I don't like him.
Big time agree.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
I'll go. What about I most hated character? I would have to say Dante, the Dante from Devil May Cry reboot.
Oh,
I hate Dante. He's an edgy, I don't know, like cool guy wannabe character. Like he thinks just because he says fuck every other line that he's like the coolest dude, and he's really like a trash character.
That's a good one. I can agree with that.
Like that game's fun, but I skip every cutscene because I don't care what's happening with him.
Okay, we already know Spencer's, but
I-
why don't you tell us
I-
anyway?
I would say any character that you guys have a soundbite of me talking like. That's who I hate.
Oh wow! How would you say that about Toad?
Oh my god, I love Toad. No, wait, do I have a soundbite of Toad? I don't think you guys have done anything.
It's me, Toad.
It's me, Toad.
And I'm Toad.
And then also, oh, I just had one. Oh, any main character from a Tales of game. They're all shit. They've all, and they might improve over the game. They've prevented me from playing Tales of games because they just get so annoyed and quit playing.
Though there's a couple Tales of main characters I'm not a fan of, but there's a couple I do like. But but they're never like my favorite character in the entire game. Like I always liked a lot of the side characters better, or the other party members.
I've always wanted to play a Tales of game, and then I sit down and try, and it just burns me out, and I quit.
Did you know that Tails is in fact a boy? Moving on. I'll tell you, hate is a strong word, so I don't know if I can associate that with the video game character, not offhand anyway. But I will tell you, I think Zelda is overrated.
Get out of here.
The character, not the games.
What's your problem?
I prefer Saria.
Zelda's one hot chick.
What does she do?
Yeah, I don't stand with you on this one, Teddy.
Okay.
I mean, she can transform into a ninja.
That's cool. But that's chic.
Yeah, but
Wow, spoiler alert.
oh
Thanks a
no,
lot.
we ruined a
Spoiler.
20-year-old game.
For those who haven't played Melee, this is a spoiler if you really like the Smash. No, I don't know.
I'm gonna go back to playing Final Fantasy VII now. Really like that Aerith character.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. But I don't know if I hate her. I don't know. She says more, I guess. Anyways, the voice actor for Tails and Sonic Adventure. Damn, you could have done a little better.
It's an actual kid, though.
No.
Like some child.
You damn kid.
Now, Teddy.
Terry has a bonus question, and it's awesome for the month that we're in. We're in July RPG month, aka JRPG month. So here he has it as an added bonus. Here's one more question. What is the worst RPG you have ever played?
Do I have to go first on this one?
You don't have to.
No, I'll go first. I know exactly which one. Actually, Terry is automatically going to know which one I'm going to say because it's one that I have reviewed in the past. And it's a game on PS2. Never came out to US, thank God. But it came out in Europe and Japan, and that was Eternal Quest. It's basically a like a roguelike game, kind of like, like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and all that. Which, I like some of those games, but I have to be in the right mood for them. But this is like that if it was like done in like the worst way like ever. Like the graphics look really, really bad. The balancing is like so broken in the game. Like you can literally die within like 3 hits at the very beginning part. And it's that bad.
Jeez.
Some things are better left non-localized.
Yes. Also, the localization in the European version is like really bad. They call like the healing items spheres. But yeah, that's a game I would not recommend to anyone, like ever.
Noted. For me, it's probably Lord of Magna. I think that's what it was called. It was on the 3DS. And I honestly don't remember much about it, but it was the first RPG I played where it felt like, and this is probably like stereotypical and not okay to say in 2020, but like a girly game. And I don't know. It was really pacified. I really don't remember much about it, but I just remember it was like a strategy RPG game, and everything like it took a while. It wasn't engaging. The dialogue was boring. You had to save these maidens. I think it was called Maiden Heaven.
Oh, clever.
And
Oh, was that the Marvelous published game? on 3DS.
think
Yeah, and that's where I started to notice that even though people said like games published by certain developers or companies, were like rare or whatever, didn't necessarily mean they were good.
Oh yeah. No, that's a game I've heard about before. I never played it. I heard it had a unique combat system, but I never knew much about it. But since you played it,
I put it like a good 10 hours maybe. I'm not really sure, but it really lost interest with me. Or vice versa.
I'll throw my hat in here and say any of the more modern day atelier, whatever those are, where you're an alchemist.
Oh yeah.
I tried one. Those games are absolute horseshit. But I could also say Breath of Fire, either one or two, probably one. But it's really not its fault. It's so early in the series that it's just that at the same time you got games like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 4, 6, whatever. So, man, it looks bad in comparison.
Yeah, I played one of those Atelier games. They're okay. I like the music in them, but aside from that, though, yeah, they're just all right. Although Manikamia was good, but that was on PS2.
Yeah, I liked what they were doing originally, where it was like a total throwback to 2D games. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about, but they used to
it was 2D.
Atelier Iris or whatever those are. Those were freaking cool. I don't know why they went a completely different direction.
Alex?
I would say Chrono Trigger. I was kidding. I would say
I'm getting Chrono triggered right now.
I know. I just wanted to. Man, it's tough, but I'm gonna say Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, just on the fact that like the first two games are PS2 titles, and this one was a GBA title, and if you didn't play it on the GBA, you would not know what the hell was going on in Kingdom Hearts 2. The gameplay itself is a little wonky. I wouldn't say it's terrible, and the story is okay, but just the sheer fact that like if you didn't have a GBA and you were just playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and then you bought Kingdom Hearts 2, you were super fucking lost. And I think that's like a failed concept.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm actually surprised you didn't say Recoded, because that's the one that I normally hear people.
That game is like unnecessary. You don't really need to play that game. You need to play Chain of Memories to understand what's happening.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
You can kind of skip over it.
All
So
right.
that
So we got all of our future episodes in store for the Map House. No, I'm joking. All right, thanks for the questions, Terry. Next one comes from Fiji Mashup.
Mush it up.
My question: what is Nintendo's most important IP?
Mario or
F-Zero.
Pokemon.
Star
Well,
Tropic.
Star Tropics, oh, that's a great one. But, come to think of it, what's one IP that's actually been around with Nintendo even longer than Mario? Is Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong Country is pretty important.
Well, not the country, but, the arcade one.
People really like DK64, from what I understand.
Yeah, but I don't think it holds a candle to Mario. Mario just for branding.
Oh, definitely. But I just mean it's an older game, and and it was still very popular when it came out. But then, yeah, of course, Mario came out later and blew it out of the water.
You
Am I wrong here? Could you not have Mario without Donkey Kong?
Yeah,
I
but
don't know the dates.
That's like saying that Freddie Mercury's parents are more important than Freddie Mercury.
Well, they might just be.
I'm going to challenge Mario. I'm going to say Pokemon, though, because that's one of the biggest franchises of all time.
Yeah.
That's true.
You could argue if you're just looking at financials and branding, it's not certainly weak at branding, then Pokemon would be your answer as well. Yeah.
And I'm going to have to say you're all wrong. It's PictoChat.
Oh, fuck.
I want to say Nintendo Labo, but I couldn't think of the name early enough. It's paving the way for VR. No, a serious answer. Nope, don't got one. I don't. It's got to be Mario. Yeah. Sorry, boring answer, but it's a good question. Thanks, VG Mashup. Next one comes from SNES Mapper. Sounds familiar. What is your stance when it comes to games performance? Do you care about things like frame rate, resolution, good emulation, parentheses when it comes to retro compilations, and parentheses, etc., or do you simply not care about this at all?
As long as it's playable, that's kind of my thing. It's like as long as it looks okay and it's playable, I'll deal with it. I see that a lot with like Switch ports, and I think I've shared this story before, but I bought Mortal Kombat 11 on Switch originally, and it looked like absolute garbage. And I took it back and got the PS4 version. So I will draw a line at some places, but like if it's like looks a little worse or plays like a little worse, I won't be as uptight about it. But I do draw a line at some point.
Yeah, for me, I think like frame rate is important because if you have really choppy frame rate, it's really going to affect like a lot of like different aspects to it. Resolution doesn't really bother me, and yeah, you do need good emulation for like older stuff, but yeah, I think frame rate is pretty important.
I'm with Chris on this. Frame rate is way more important. Resolution. I mean, I play games on the 3DS that has like double-digit resolution, so I'm not really worried about that. For multiplayer gaming, frame rate is incredibly important. For single-player gaming, frame rate just has to be functional to what it's trying to put out. So 30, 60, whatever, that doesn't matter. But for multiplayer, as high as you can get with keeping performance, I prefer.
Yeah, as long as it's consistent, yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot stand a game that has delay input. Sonic on the Sega Genesis compilation, but sorry, Alex.
You should get that cough checked out.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Why?
it's been killing me
Why are you
for
saying
weeks.
I didn't make that compilation. Wait, why are you apologizing to me?
I thought the T in D3T stood for turbo.
See, I didn't program that.
Anyways, now I know it's just because I complained about it so much when we were doing our live stream. But the problem is, I really like Sonic 1, and any delay input is like unacceptable for me, especially with the game I love. And then I also am I won't say this is a deal breaker for me, but I really don't like playing a spaceship shooter that has slowdown. Do you guys have that issue?
I've had before, yeah.
Does it bother you at all when you play like spaceship shooters and there's like a severe slowdown?
Sometimes. I think it depends on the game. I feel like if it's like one of those like crazy bullet hell shooters, I think I'm okay with it because it's easier for me to like dodge the bullets. But when it's like one that's like usually like, I don't know, let's just say like Gradius for an example, then yeah, like that would be pretty annoying.
I don't know. Maybe I play too many NES games because that doesn't really bother me as much.
Yeah, maybe. I remember when I was playing on 3DS, it was like Carouse Beast of Eden, and I really liked the first Carouse, and so to play another one that was like worse was like unfavorable to me, but I don't know.
That makes sense.
Phew, I thought I was crazy. Next one comes from DZD. So he asks if you could put together your ultimate game dev company dream team to work on a game, who would it be and why?
That's a very good one.
Mine's already happened. It was Nier Automata. It was Platinum Games and what's the guy's name? Yokotaro? Is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah, that was like whenever that game was announced. Because I'm such a big fan of the first game. Whenever that game was announced, it was like Platinum and Yokotaro. I was like, oh my god, is this like who asked for this? Like except for me. So it's already happened. My dreams came true.
But were you satisfied with it though?
Oh hell yes, I love that game to pieces.
Yeah, I really liked it too. Though I don't know. I feel like the story, I kind of like the first one's story a bit more, but that one still had its good moments though. But that's another discussion for another day though.
Yeah, I don't want to talk much about Nier right now.
It's too near to your heart.
Yes.
find out the bit.
I'm not super good at names, so I apologize if I don't know everybody, but I think it's like Masato Kato or something. Just into whoever made Chrono Cross, which they went on to do like a lot of the Xenogears, Xenoblade, that stuff. I would like to combine them with a huge bucket of money so that they can make something great. Because I love Chrono Cross, and that would be my favorite game ever, but they really butchered the end. But if they had just if they just had a shit ton of money, then I think they could make the best games ever.
Oh, wait, they did the PS2 Xeno games?
Like
You're talking about?
parts of them, yes, went on to do that.
Yeah, that was Monolith Soft.
Yeah. So it's they're by that at that point they're kind of fractured, but you can see like influences. Like they make really good quality stuff.
Who did the Blue Dragon and stuff on 360? Was that them? Or was
No,
it-
that was what's the name? Wasn't one of the Dragon Quest creators made Blue Dragon?
Akira Toriyama was a part of it. Yeah, let me look it up.
I think it was Square though, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think so. No,
No.
it was Mistwalker, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been Mistwalker. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, Sakaguchi. Yeah, he also did Lost Odyssey. That's a great game.
Oh, I do. I love Lost Odyssey. I wish I had a 360 just to play that game because that game was really awesome.
Yeah, I loved it, man. It's great.
That was his first game outside of Square Enix. Sakaguchi.
But yeah, as for the question though, as to combining, different creators, yeah, that's tough because there's a lot of like really good devs out there, and I'm trying to think like which ones would you think would like work best with like another? Because I would like to see like I don't know if you guys are familiar with Swery. He's the guy that made like Deadly Premonition.
I'm actually playing that on Switch.
Oh, right on. I beat that a couple months ago on Switch. But yeah, the
Okay.
dude that made that game, like I think if he had like a really like good budget, like I think he can create some really really great stuff, like stuff that like even like rivals like Suda 51.
Or any budget, because God, that first game is like held together by like duct tape, I swear.
Yeah, you're kind of right, but I don't know. I loved Deadly Premonition when I was playing it, like despite like the issues it had. Like I thought the story was like really charming and weird and interesting.
See, that's the thing is I was gonna bring up Suda, but I didn't want to bring up Suda because like I feel like I like him better by himself, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like the wrong person to answer this question. I've been like sitting on this, like thinking of an answer, but I'm like Spencer. I don't really know like either company names or individual names, and it's probably something I should become more acquainted with. I really just want the original Star Fox team to like come together and make another Star Fox game as opposed to handing it off to like outside companies.
Yeah.
no,
And
they
I
won't
think
do it.
maybe if they did Starlink but with personalities and not Starlink, like something that like had a little more depth to it, that'd be pretty cool. I like the foundation of Starlink, but I don't think it was. I think it was too blockbuster-esque with like too little personality to it.
I think if they handed the Star Fox license over to that team, they could make something cool though. Like the full license, not just like a cameo. Yeah.
They would have to make the bosses or the enemies on the environments way more diverse.
Oh yeah. I've been saying, but like take what they learned from the first Starlink and improve it, but just make a Star Fox game. Like I think they would do a good job.
I just hope that they learned from it and like they know what to apply next time. It's too bad that was really like a commercial failure. But that's what I think. Thanks for the question, DCD. Next one comes from Turbo.
Turbo.
Who's
What's
that?
I don't see this guy is just like I think he's stalking our channel. What's a Nintendo spin-off you want to see? You can make one up or add to an existing franchise.
I got a good one for this already. Is to make a an F-Zero game, but make it like a beat 'em up, kind of like the Yakuza games, where like you run around in like a well, not really like an open world, but if you played the Yakuza games, you know how the world is in those games. Like you run around the map, you do side quests, and then the people will like run at you and try to beat you up, and then you just Falcon punch them in the face. I don't know. I think that would be amazing. I would love to play a game like that.
Nice, nice. Ooh, I got one. So I want like a Zelda rhythm game.
That exists, doesn't it?
I don't
Oh.
know.
I know the one you're thinking of. Is that Necrodancer
Yeah.
game?
Oh, Necroman. Yeah.
Nah, but I want one with like instruments, because they have all these various instruments throughout the Zelda games.
Oh, you just mean like a Donkey Konga kind of game, except with Zelda.
Yeah, like Zelda tunes, you know?
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
That would be cool. I'd like that. Ocarina Hero.
I would like Metal Gear Solid as a turn-based tactics RPG, kind of like Acid. I actually remember playing Acid and liking it quite a bit.
It's not a Nintendo game.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah, it can be. Metal Gear Solid was on the. There's Metal Gear on the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, whatever.
Metal Gear smashing.
Yeah, so there you go.
It's
Metal Gear
qualified.
Bros. Turbo? I mean, Alex.
I do, Spencer. I do like Acid though. I just wanted to give you that piece of information. This is tough. I asked this question and I'm having a hard time coming up with a good answer. So I'm going to add to an already existing franchise. I want them to do Pokken again, but like good. Like add like actual content and like not just a crappy single player mode and then online battles. Like I want actual content because the game's fun to play. Like the first game's really fun, but there's nothing to do.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. Like that game was pretty fun, but yeah, it just needed a lot more other stuff to it. And I think that's a problem with most fighting games these days. Like a lot of them is just arcade mode, online, that's it.
Yeah, so that's probably my pick. Pokken 2, make it good.
They should do Mario as as a kart racer.
See, this is hard because they recently they've been handing off their stuff. So like it was like they did Hyrule Warriors, they did Pokken, they did Mario Rabbids. It's like, Jesus, what haven't they done? I'm like,
They still haven't done Mario Hockey.
They
Date
should
Kirby.
How about instead of one franchise, they just take all the franchises and put them in like a brawler kind of game? You know?
Oh, put him in like a golf game.
Or a golf game, yeah.
What if they take every Nintendo game and put it on the Nintendo 64?
That's my next fighter for Smash is the actual 64. That's just a console.
My favorite Nintendo 64 Smash Brothers character is Polygon Fighter.
Piranha Plant, thank you.
Moving on. Thanks for the question, Turbo Zone. I'll have to
You're
check
welcome.
out that channel someday.
Turbo.
And here's a question. This one comes from this guy sounds excellent. His name is BioPhoenix. Rise like a phoenix. And he asks, what is a game that has great music but you sadly could not get into? Wonder who this BioPhoenix guy is. He sounds
Am I
really
allowed
cool.
to say Ocarina of Time?
No.
No.
God damn it.
I don't want you costing us any more subs.
We've gained subs that made that statement. So.
I don't think it was due to that.
But it happened after I said that. So
You're still making up for the loss. Anyways, go ahead. What?
I don't know. That was my pick.
I guess I'll say Final Fantasy VIII. I don't usually play with music on. I don't like music very much, so I have podcasts or something going on while I play video games. But I know VIII. It has a good soundtrack, but I didn't really get into it.
Yeah, no, its soundtrack is pretty good. I like a few songs. Yeah, as for me, there's a lot I know that have like some really, really great music, but then it's all like, eh. Let's see.
Man, I don't have a good answer for this one. I don't know. That's a tricky question. Like I would have had to really ruminate on that one.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of one too. Um,
Mutant Muds, I guess. I don't know.
Mutant Muds. Is
I like
that indie game that was on the Wii U at first?
Yeah,
It's
I
on
have it
3DS.
on the 3DS. I think I have it on Switch too. It was like 99 cents. I was like, whatever. I'll get some Mutant Muds. But I do like the chip tune.
Oh, we're not getting the perfect answer. Columns.
Columns.
No, not the song. Not
It
the
has that
columns.
bomb ass song, but the game is nigh unplayable.
Chris, can you replicate the Columns theme song?
I don't even remember it, honestly. I mean, I kind of do, but like,
Just
not-
think of the Tetris theme song, but inverted.
This was the first and last time BioPhoenix joined us for a map out.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna say Hong Kong '97. There you go.
Respectable.
I would also
That
say that.
soundtrack in the background is so freaking catchy.
It's so stupid.
It is stupid, but it's great.
Oh, I like the Buck Bumble theme. That's pretty.
Oh, Buck Bumble's a good one. I'm gonna actually change my answer to Sonic 06, though.
Oh, actually,
Ooh, Buck Bumble's good. I'm gonna pick Sonic 06.
no, Sonic 06 does have a really good soundtrack. Actually, it's
I
just
was
too bad the
debating
beginning
picking
doo-doo.
Adventure. I don't know. I have to give Adventure more time, I think. But like you said, I've really had trouble getting into it. But anyways. And our last question. This is actually a network, but it's not a network of questions. It's a network of itch. What is the weirdest game you've ever played?
Oh man.
That's a great BioPhoenix question.
That is exactly
Yeah.
why that channel. asked
Yeah,
that.
I've played a lot of weird stuff, as I'm sure if you guys like seen like a lot of my stuff, yeah, I cover a lot of like really weird freaking shit. But if I were to just pick like one, even doing that is kind of hard. Like, let's see here. I mean, a good portion of like PC98 games I played are freaking weird. It's a computer system that had a lot of like adult themed games on it.
Do you know? Can you like name a couple of them that like stood out to you?
Well, I know there's actually a shooter that was kind of like oh, what's that Konami game? Metal Warriors? I think that's what it was called. Or I know okay, do you know that PS4 game called it's the one where you're in like a mech and you can shoot in all directions.
On which console?
I think it's like it's not called Robo Lest, is it?
Oh, Musha?
No, not Musha. No. It's like a side scroller where you're a mech and you can like shoot in like every single direction.
I know what you're talking about. This
Yeah,
from Sega Genesis. A cyber or something? I don't know.
Bangayo.
Yeah, well, anyways, there's a game on PC98 that plays like pretty much like that, but it has like a lot of like hentai cutscenes in it. Thankfully, you could actually play the game like while skipping those cutscenes, but you know, like
Wait,
it's
thankfully.
still very awkward.
Did you mean
Thankfully.
Ranger X?
No, not Ranger X. No, I know there's a PS4 game they made a couple years ago that was kind of like a spiritual successor. It's a
Assault Suit Lanos?
That's it.
Uh,
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, there's a
BioPhoenix.
game like that on PC98, and yeah, for some reason it has hentai material because why not?
Why are you skipping that? If there's hentai in a game, you watch it. Damn it.
Well,
That's the
Kagura fan.
code that I've lived by my whole life.
I'm pretty open to just enjoying, anime titties.
well, it's not just that. It's just like really like weird stuff. Like it's like, like freaking like tentacles and like stuff like that. And
Oh,
Sign me
That's-
up.
that's different.
yeah.
Sign me up.
Well, Spencer's just weird, but I remember playing
I'm weird.
Philios, and I think that like it's just a standard Greek shooter, and then all of a sudden there'll be like a lady chained up on the wall. I'm like, what?
Wait, you're talking about Philios, right?
Yeah, and like these portraits, like between levels, it seemed really out of place.
Yeah, that's a good game though. But yeah, that was pretty weird.
Spencer, what's the
Goat
weirdest you
Simulator.
got?
No, I'm going next. Screw
Spencer.
Spencer.
Okay, Alex is Spencer, and I'm Toad.
Awkward silence.
You call it weird.
My pick is Goat Simulator.
Goat
by far.
Simulator.
Yes, I love Goat Simulator, but it's so bizarre. I mean, it's basically a point-based trick game where you control a goat. There you
Yeah,
go.
walk around.
Yeah, you can do weird shit. You can try to ride a bike. Good luck.
Basically, just another kind of hentai.
Yeah, basically.
I don't think this one has tentacles.
Yeah. Anything's a hentai if you're brave enough, right? That's the old
Well,
expression.
out here in the country, all we got is goats.
I guess mine would be like Hotiful Boyfriend or something.
Oh, oh, that one. Oh.
That's a weird one. It's
Yeah.
like a dating sim, but for birds.
Oh, did you do the Dr. Pigeon route?
I didn't play it
Yes.
that much. My mind
Okay.
was going numb, so I stopped.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. But no, I watched a friend of mine play it, and yeah, apparently if you pick the Dr. Pigeon route, the Dr. Pigeon will actually like kill you by like dissecting you. It's so freaking morbid.
That's an odd one.
Oh.
I don't know. What is this? You guys have bombarded me with weirdness. I'm such a normie.
Yeah.
I am Brad. I love I am Brad.
Well, that's
I
a
am
good
Brad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. That game. I mean, the gameplay is funny to watch, but that game story wise is literally about a man being tormented by a loaf of bread, and it's the best.
That's excellent.
It's breadslint.
Oh, before we move on, actually, I found out another. I know another one that I have played that I can mention real quick is Kupasaning on PS2.
What's that?
What's
Okay, it's
I'm
a
not surprised. Go ahead.
yeah. Okay, it's a game on PS2 that was only released in Spain, and it was based after a this weird like show that came out, and the dude that's in it, he's bald, but like when you look at the front cover of it, he looks like he has like his eyes popping out. It looks so weird. And you got to do these like weird mini games, and like the first one is like Tetris, and it's like you think like really okay, like all this game is Tetris, right? But then the next one you do after, you're like literally looking at like a really creepy 3D model of the dude with his like big bulgy eyes, and you have to like squish like flies with his nose. I'm not making this up. Yeah, it's called Kupasaning. It's like apparently Kupasa means what's up, dog.
Ah, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, there you go. That's the weirdest game I played. That I just remembered that.
All right. So Kupasaning. I just wanted to say it. Just like
Yeah.
experience it, you know.
Yeah, the way how he says it is funny. He's like Kupasaning.
All right, cool. That's it for the questions this week. Thanks for leaving them in the comments, y'all. Make sure to leave one at this point or later in the episode when the inspiration hits you. But that's not where Game Talk ends. Here on Game Talk, we talk games, and we're about to talk about some games that we focused on in recent days, and we're going to start with our guest, the Bio Phoenix. Chris, what's an RPG that you bring to the table for this month's Game Talk?
All right. Okay. So the one that I decided to pick for today is Shadow Hearts, also on PS2. I guess you could say I love the PS2, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So Shadow Hearts is just a really great game that I loved pretty much as soon as I played it. So I got the game at a convention back in 2015. Now, without going into too much into detail, that was a year that I went through a lot of stuff in my life. I was going through a hard time, and when I played that game, it really helped me like go through that tough time. For not only was it really good, and also it's a RPG that has like a kind of a dark horror tone, like it even has like pre-rendered backgrounds like you would see in like a horror game at that time, which was really awesome. And has a really great battle system where it has like a judgment ring for your attacks. Like you pretty much have to do a mini game just to make an attack, but it's really addicting. Like it feels like you think it would slow the game down, but it really doesn't. And also I love like all the characters. I think they're all pretty well written. They're all very likable and have like their unique quirks. And of course, I like the main character Yuri. He's kind of a badass who's also like really funny with his dialogue, but at the same time, he's also not like an unstoppable force in nature. Like he does have his weaknesses too. Like for an example, like he gets seasick easily on boats. That's like one thing that it's a weakness to him and all that. And also he can be very stupid at times. Like he can do things without thinking them through. So, like I said, like despite like him just being like a really like badass funny character, he also does have his down points too. But it still makes it very interesting and really really fun to play through. And I also love the fact that the game doesn't take like 50 hours just to get to like the first boss. Like the game's pretty quick, easy to the point, and straightforward. And yeah, it's just a really great like horror themed RPG and probably one of my favorites on PS2. And I've beaten the game about 3 times since I played it in 2015. And I can say that every time I played it, I liked it better and better. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
All right, good pick. I know Shadow Hearts is like, you're almost like the ambassador for Shadow Hearts at this point. And that's really cool to hear. Like, you've played it so many times, even just over the past 5 years.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've beaten it twice. Like the first time I beat it, I got like 2 endings because there's 2 endings in the game. And I guess one quick thing I can mention is that one thing I thought was interesting is that the ending that continues to the second game is actually takes place after the bad ending, which is very different because most games it's always the good ending. So also kind of makes you think there's like could be a timeline going where like you can have one game go for the good ending, one for the bad ending. Unfortunately, they didn't do that, but would have been cool to see that if they did.
Could you go into detail about the setting of this game? Because I remember this game coming out and it was super, super different than like a lot of the JRPGs at the time. What's like the setting for this game?
Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about that. Yeah, there's a lot of things I could talk about with this game without going like overboard, but let's talk about the setting though. It takes place like just before World War One. So like think of like early 1910s, which is very different too.
Right.
And I thought it was a really cool, unique setting for like an RPG at that time because it wasn't like modern, but it wasn't like super old, like medieval.
How does that play into the story and maybe gameplay? Like, is there a lot of real life references? Like, is it like a Metal Gear Solid almost, where it's like playing around with history?
Yeah, actually, it kind of does. It does take place in real life locations. Like it takes place in China, and then later goes into a European. But yeah, it also does have some real life events. In fact, it actually mentions at the end of the game, and don't worry, this isn't a spoiler, is that it mentions that Franz Ferdinand was assassinated. So yeah, it actually mentions actual history about that.
Spoiler alert! Jeez.
I mean, you only know about that in the history books.
Yeah, I had a hard time with history. I kept calling the teacher out.
That's fair.
Franz Ferdinand, I thought that was a metal band.
Oh, the one that did the song "Take Me Out."
Yeah, the song that never ends.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting, though, is like the blend of history and even that kind of like that concept, as kind of like you were alluding to. It's not just your typical medieval RPG.
Yeah, like there are like monsters and demons and all type of stuff that you would see in like medieval culture, but it's not.
Mm.
Who
I know you
makes?
said
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
it's okay. You get the next one. I know you said that some might view like that I don't know what you called it before, but it was like
The
when you go
Judgment
into
Ring.
the action, yeah, the action sequence for the battle, kind of like not like a time waster or something, but like I know it might maybe generic would be like the right way to paraphrase it. But also some of my favorite games have like those kind of action sequences in the battles. Like I love the Mario and Luigi series. I like how it keeps you engaged throughout.
Yeah,
How would you compare it to games with similar systems?
yeah, I'd say probably the most similar game I can think of that actually does kind of remind me of that, like the Judgment Ring system is, yeah, like you said, like the Paper Mario games are kind of like it, where that you have to do like little different like things to make your attack. And yeah, the other closer one I can think of is Legend of Dragoon is kind of similar. You got to press a button to like actually attack, but it's still in turn based. And then we talked about it earlier, but Lost Odyssey actually has a ring system thing, but it plays differently though. But it's kind of similar, where you got to make the ring like go into like the smaller circle to make your attack. And interesting enough, one of the developers from the Shadow Hearts team actually did go to Mistwalker to work on that game. Funny enough.
Hmm. Speaking of that, what else has the people that made Shadow Hearts made? Have they made anything else that's worthy of noting?
Yeah, I actually did review a one game that they made before. It was on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, a great handheld that not many people bought. It was okay, I can't pronounce the name because it's like one of those weird names, and it actually did sort of come out in English. It was Fazly or Fazly. Like I said, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like a mecha RPG with a tactical style, kind of like Front Mission.
I like those.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so
I'm seeing 3 Shadow Hearts games. Are they all good, or what's up with them?
okay. The first one, I don't know, like the first one I think I love like the most, just because like it was the first one I played, and like I said, I've beaten it the most times. The second one I think for the most part is an improvement. Like it has like a lot more voice acting and has a lot more cutscenes. Also, they added much more customization to the Judgment Ring system, which makes it even more in depth, which I really love that. But I do find that game does have a lot of parts in it that are kind of a pain to go back to. Like that final boss, like literally took me like 2 hours just to beat. And but other than that though, I do love Shadow Hearts 2. As for the third one from the New World, that game is still good as a gameplay standpoint, but the story in it is just absolute freaking garbage.
Oh,
Yeah, they kind of pulled a Grandia 3 where like I don't know if you guys have played all the Grandia games or not, but that's another series where like the first two games are pretty much beloved by most people, but then the third one is like very mixed with a lot of people because, like the gameplay in it's good too, but it also has a story and tone that's just completely off the wall in a very weird way. That's the best way I can compare that one.
oh, I can tell you the girl on the cover can get it.
Thought we were family friendly here. I'm totally selfish. I don't like playing games on the PS2. I'm wondering, are there games that are similar that you would recommend, or is this even available in other ways?
Unfortunately, because the company is like no longer around, they've been like dissolved like years ago. Yeah, this is not a game that can easily be like remastered, or you're not going to see like an HD port or any type of thing like that, which is a shame. But so really, the only way to play it outside of playing it on PS2 is really just to emulate it, really, at this point.
Mm.
But if there's like another game that's similar, I mean, I guess the closest thing to it in terms of like its tone would be like Parasite Eve. But even then, that's not even that similar. It just has a similar tone with like it's like a horror themed RPG.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of those.
No, you really don't. And I wish we did because I do think it's a good mixture.
Who'd win a fight? Shadowheart, Shadow of the Colossus, or Shadow the Hedgehog?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Shadow the Hedgehog might have the edge, quote unquote.
That's the right answer.
Shadow of the Colossus is pretty colossal.
The Shadowheart has the heart.
So it would be a tie, is what we're trying to say. Any last words for Shadowhearts?
Well, like I said, if you ever do see like a copy of it and it's not like ridiculously overpriced, I would say get it if you can. Like it is a pretty damn good game that I love a whole lot. But if you can't, well, like I said, I mean, you can always just emulate it. Like I said, it's not like you can buy the game brand new at a Walmart, so it's not like they're losing money out of it. So there is that. But yeah, I love it, and I always like talking about it.
Awesome. All right, we're going to move to the next game. Alex, Spencer, do you guys have any preference?
Alex, do you want to take it? Usually I go
Sure.
for it earlier, but
You know what? I'll go ahead because I'm sure Spencer's going to talk about something for crazy long time.
wow.
So Alex, talk to us about Frogger on the Atari.
Spencer's talking about the Sonic Dark Brotherhood game today.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to it. Okay.
Now that I set him up to do some research, I alluded to it earlier. My pick is Nier, the original Nier, which is an action RPG.
The one that's near to your heart.
Yes, I absolutely love this game. I fell in love with this game. I bought it the year it came out. I bought it like half price because like I thought it was like a failed game. You know, like I don't hear people talk about it and stuff at the time. Like, and all the reviews I saw were mainly like negative reviews, except for Classic Gamer. He gave it a thumbs up, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I fell in love with Nier. I actually went back after I played Nier and played the Drakengard games, which it is a spinoff of. And Nier is such a different experience. Just to kind of set things up, Nier is a spinoff of the first Drakengard, and it's a spinoff of that game's joke ending. Like it's like ending E or something, where like because like Drakengard like takes place in like a medieval world. It's the ending where the main character and the dragon get transported to modern day Tokyo. This is a spinoff of that ending, and it's absolutely insane that that's the continuity. So Nier is about a father trying to cure his sick daughter, but it gets much, much deeper from there. It's an open action RPG, sort of similar to like if Zelda was a little more of an RPG, you know, had a little more RPG elements, you know, cast spells, you know, like level up, use, you know, items and stuff, you know, in that sort of way, not like, you know, Link does, but and it's hard to like explain it, but like the game is like a mixture of an action RPG with other elements. Like certain stages will have like bullet hell elements. There's one that's like a like text novel. There's one that's a like almost like a 2D platformer. Like it's very strange how the game shifts up the gameplay every area, but it's kind of refreshing in a way. And the game has a very beautiful soundtrack. And I'm trying not to spoil anything, but it's hard to talk about the story without spoiling anything. And I won't go into too much detail, but you fight these creatures called Shades, and you're joined by a few other party members. This one chick named Kaine, she's like part Shade or something. And then this other kid who he starts out as like a little boy. His name's Emil, and he has a bandage around his eyes because like whatever he looks at turns into stone. And he later gets turned into like an actual weapon to kind of like to like stop that. And so you as like a dad, it's like a 40-year-old dad, and this ragtag team are trying to save your daughter from, you know, like from the Shades. And it's a pretty straightforward story the first time you play through, but this game really rewards you for playing through multiple times. when playing through for the second time, you actually learn that the shades are like living, like thinking things. Like they actually have emotions, they have feelings. They aren't just like random glob monsters. So there will all of a sudden in cutscenes be subtitles you haven't seen before, where the shades are talking about like, oh, I'll help you, and then like they get brutally murdered, and you're just chopping these things down. So it really like raises the question of like, are you the good guy in the story or not? And it's a very different kind of RPG.
Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I said earlier, I love the first Nier a lot, and yeah, like I think you kind of nailed it with what a lot of things you said. Like I love the music in the game, and I love all those characters. Like they have a lot of personality to them.
They do. I also love. I forgot to bring up the book. His name's is it Vice.
Like Grimoire Vice, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like he has like a British-ish accent, and he's kind of like a cocky asshole, but he's kind of like a really fun character too. He's like
Yeah.
how you cast your spells and stuff.
Oh yeah, he was my favorite character. In fact, he was actually voiced by one of my favorite voice actors, being Liam O'Brien. So, and I think he nailed that role perfectly.
The other character that's talking about, Kaine, she dresses very like skimpily and stuff, and there's parts in the story that allude to her being like a transvestite and stuff, but they don't really bring that up too much. But he is always berating her and calling her like a hussy and stuff. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, the game has really good like dialogue, and I really love that a lot. Like that
I'm
was-
not a.
Oh,
I'm
go on.
sorry. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Like the last thing I was about to say is that was kind of the thing why I said like earlier that I kind of liked the first Nier a little bit more than Nier Automata, was that I feel like it had a lot more of that dynamic between different characters and all that. And yeah, I'm gonna say it. I like Kane better than 2B.
Oh, me too. I think the first game's characters are better. The second game, I think, has good concepts with the characters. I really like the one robot that's like a village chief. I forgot the character's name.
Oh, I
And but yeah, and like there's a few other characters in that game that are really good, but the first game just nails it with its characters.
Yeah.
You said it's like a spinoff from a scene in Drakengard. As far as I know, Drakengard, and I don't, it's a game where you like either fight dragons or fight with dragons. What's the real consistency between these two series?
So Drakengard is a medieval like themed game. It's more akin to like a warriors game where there's levels where you're on the ground fighting, and then there's levels where you're flying through the air, almost like a Star Fox style level. So the third ending, sorry, not the third ending, the fifth ending, like I kind of alluded to earlier, the main character and his dragon get sent to modern day Japan, and that was like a joke ending. But whenever they get there, the dragon it like turns into like this white dust, this like magic dust, and that is where Nier picks up. The beginning of Nier actually is like a flashback to that point where like Tokyo's been like destroyed. There's white ash everywhere, and this white ash caused it's like some sort of sickness. So what they did was they basically separated like body from soul. So you have two different beings, and they they were going to awaken everybody like later on after it's all fixed and put them back together, but it happened too early. So the shades are actually the leftover souls, and you are playing as the humans, which are just like the leftover bodies. And it's a very strange consistency of like how it's linked to Drakengard, but it is.
Okay. I still have no vision for it, but okay.
No, it's a Yoko Taro game, so yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
The third Drakengard game has time travel, so
Yeah, I played all those Drakengard games, and I am a fan of the Warriors games. I know they're not for everyone, and I totally get why, but I like them for what they are. And Dragon Guard, I'm kind of mixed on. Like, there's aspects about them that I really like, and then there's a lot of things I don't like. But I do think that the story and like the tone that they usually have, I do like that a lot. And the fact that they even tried to make like a whole new series just off of like one ending, I think is pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
How does it
Sorry,
connect? How does it connect to Automata?
Oh, Automata. Sorry, Automata, or however you
Automata.
say it.
Whatever.
Yeah, Automata, whatever. It takes place years later, like years down the road. And actually, Yokotaro does a strange thing. Like I said, his connections are not always as clear cut. The There's actually a stage play that connects a lot of the story to the other game. It's kind of dumb but kind of amazing. Like and I kind of like, I know I explained, like I kind of complained about that with the Kingdom Hearts thing, but the fact that the man wrote a stage play to connect his two games is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it as far as like story wise, the two games don't connect, which is I think is why Automata really like did as well as it did. But a lot of the tone and like a lot of the themes and stuff are the same across both games. Like, what is it to be human? That's kind of like the main underlying theme of, I think, both games in a sense.
So assuming you're like not paying attention to like the stage play or whatever, you could just see Automata as like a spiritual successor.
Yeah, I mean, like Emil does appear in Automata, and he is one of the main characters from the original. But other than that, like a few other names, like there's Devil and Popola are characters in the first Nier, and they have characters in the second game. Other than that, like there's really no clear connection. So,
Well, actually, Akane's house does appear in
oh, you're right, and so does the library from the town.
Yeah, but you're all right though. Like only with like there's like a few nods that do connect with it like that, where other people would totally get it. But if you didn't, though, you probably would think it's like, oh, it's just a thing.
And Nier, the first Nier is also like that. You don't have to play any Dragon Guard games to really understand its story either. And I think one of the coolest elements of this game was in Japan, they were making the game like usual. And most like RPGs like this have like a teenage or like young adult like man as the character. So in Japan, the main version on PS3 and stuff is that version with like this like teenage boy and you're saving his sister. But when bringing it over to the US, they decided to alter that to make him like a full grown man. I guess because maybe like God of War, like those kind of games are popular. But I think it really like fits the game better that way because it gives the game like a different tone that I haven't seen from a JRPG before.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually like the older like father figure look to it better because I feel like the whole like shonen Nier, that's what I call it, is I think it's kind of overplayed out in a lot of games. And not that it's a bad thing, but I feel like it's kind of refreshing to see like that other perspective.
No, you're totally right. And I think it serves the story well too because the older man gets he's pretty gruff, he's pretty like worn and stuff. So like the moments whenever he is being really headstrong, I really buy that, because that's like a really big staple of like shonen characters. It's just being super headstrong.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I totally agree.
So it's a great game. I love Nier.
Yep, I love it too. I really do. I can vouch for this.
All right. You heard it here first. Nier. It'll never be too far away.
They're talking about maybe doing a remaster. I hope it actually happens.
All right.
There's a trailer for it.
So
We'll need to get a PS3 then. So I would appreciate it. Does look pretty good from what I'm seeing. We're going to move now. Spencer, Jean Campon. Do you know what that means?
That means
talk about Sonic and the Dark
talk-
Brotherhood.
does it mean talk about Sonic Brotherhood? Dark Brotherhood?
Spencer's doing sex tropes.
I was just going to say you're up, but John Campon is rock, paper, scissors. But anyways.
Oh, okay. You want to do rock, paper, scissors, or do you want me to go?
No, I just want you to go.
Okay. Well, my game is Xenoblade Chronicles.
That was Spectro.
Yeah, I was almost Spectrobes, but then I remembered I'm not 5 years old. So, yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles is my game. Don't ask me about too many of the story details because the last time I played it was like 5 years ago when it was remastered on the new 3DS. I'm currently playing through it right now. And on the Switch, so it's my second playthrough, but I'm a little bit shaky on things. For some reason, it's not quite as I remembered, but it's still wonderful. And Xenoblade Chronicles is the story of a boy named Shulk. If you played Super Smash Brothers, you might recognize the character. And it's a story about him and the Monado, which is an ancient sword. It's kind of playing on that concept of the legendary hero meets future, meets also legendary past mythical stuff. It's like a big amalgamation of a lot of different genres of literature kind of thing. Certainly it's an RPG, and I'll get to that in a second. But it's the story of this boy, and it takes place on two large creatures, the Bionis and the Mechanus. And they were engaged in battle eons ago, and they stabbed each other, and then just froze in that position for all of eternity, etc., etc. So the story literally takes place on top of them. They are the map. So you could be on their shin, their foot, their shoulder, their head. But it looks like a world. It's just that when you look around into the distance, and the game has amazing draw distance, you can sort of make out, oh, that's the sword, that's the foot, that's the arm. It's really amazing stuff. Originally came out on the Wii. Kind of shocked that they were able to put this game on the Wii because it definitely must have stretched it to its limits. Made its way to the 3DS, and the new 3DS was where I first played it. And now it's on the Switch. It plays kind of like an MMORPG. If you've ever gotten into the rhythm of like a World of Warcraft or something, it has that same use your cooldowns. There's no mana, so you don't have to conserve there, which is nice. But it's very position heavy. So you can engage from the front, and you'll have different spells that affect where you're hitting it. So if you're hitting it from the front, it may do extra damage or create a status based on that. And you synergize with your teammates to like stagger, etc., etc. I don't want to get too into the woods on the combat. It is different, but not too foreign that you'd be lost if you played any kind of action RPG or specifically MMORPGs. I love the different characters it has. It's got a lot of kind of like what we've mentioned before on some of your guys' things. The more you talk about it, the more you kind of spoil parts of it. And I think we're going to get into that when we talk about RPGs in general, is you start spoiling things. But has a lot of really cool characters, and a lot of them pop up. It's very melodramatic, very epic in its style. But one of my favorite things about it, and that I like to talk about, is how it is every way like an anime, except it's nothing like an anime. I do not like anime. That's kind of one of my things that makes it very difficult to like JRPGs, because so many of them are filled with a lot of that like trite fluff anime crap, like really, in my opinion, one-dimensional characters, like the goofy girl that likes to eat a lot, and just like the plucky hero who's whiny. Like a lot of that stuff just doesn't exist in this game. I'm not sure how they skirted it, especially considering where Xenoblade Chronicles 2 went, which is exactly what I hate. Like I tried to get through that game and just got so angry that they took it in that direction. It's weird because there's Xenoblade Chronicles X and then Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which each came out after, obviously. And they're so completely different. It's like complete other ends of the world. And Xenoblade Chronicles is like somewhere in the middle. Xenoblade Chronicles X is like really almost no story, almost no characters, just like you and the world and the combat. And the game is too bland for that. And then Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is way too much anime. I mean, you've got a freaking little character that creates a mechanical nurse that you can upgrade, and she slowly gets more and more sexualized as the game progresses. So, I mean, it's way over the top in that way. But Xenoblade Chronicles is just right. It's just perfect. All the characters are likable. It's got a great story, great combat. The graphics could be better, but considering where it came from and where it's at, I'm pretty happy with it. I couldn't recommend it more. Xenoblade Chronicles on the Switch. Check it out.
Which Spectrobe is your favorite?
Let me ask my nephew. I'm sure he would have a really good answer.
I think it's Origins. The Bionis and the Mechanis. They sound like words you throw up.
Sound like Bionicles.
Bionicles. Yes.
Yeah,
I want to be interested in this game, and I don't know if it's like the British voice acting or like the concepts or something, but I just have not seen that pull that everyone swears is there. What do you see as the pull of Xenoblade Chronicles?
I would say it's the scope. The scope and the story. The story is phenomenal. I've heard people not liking the voice acting. Again, I often play video games with other things playing, so voice acting and music have almost no pull with me. If I don't like it, I just flip it off and listen to something. So I can't. If that is off-putting, then oh well. Sorry. But the scope of the game, like literally when you start setting out into the world and you can just see all the different places you can go. Because it's so rare in an RPG where you can literally look up into the mountains and it's like, oh, I can go there. It's almost like Skyrim in that way, where it's like one of the few RPGs where you can actually go to like every place that you see. And just knowing that you will eventually be there and you can go there is really something to behold. And then the story is really good. It's consistently got turns. It's got callbacks from the beginning. And it constantly pieces itself together in a way that not a lot of video games do. The story, without getting too spoilerific or anime, is consistently engaging throughout. Even then, it's a long game too, 70 hours.
Yep.
Should I buy it on Switch?
Yeah, it's freaking good.
I think what Alex is really trying to ask.
No, I played. I've played Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii. I actually got it like back when it came out. Which apparently, like back when it came out, it was like very limited release at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I played it. Unfortunately, I never beat it because like I'm really bad at like open world games. Like I always get so overwhelmed with it's like, okay, like what thing do I want to do now? Like I'm always really bad at that. And yeah, that's kind of part of the reason why I never finished it, which is a shame because from what I played of it, I was really loving it. Yeah, like you said, like the story was really interesting, very different. And yeah, you know what? I like the British voice acting. It's different. It's charming. I like it, but I totally get why it's not for everyone. But yeah, and the combat was pretty cool. Even though I'm not crazy into like MMOs, I thought it kind of worked pretty well with it. Like another game that's also similar to it was The Last Story, also on the Wii. Did you ever play that one?
Never played it. The Wii I completely skipped over. So there's a couple gems there I would love to go back to.
Yeah, that's one that I do wish they can get remastered because that one was also really damn good too.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool, and so was Pandora's Tower was really cool too.
That was an important time, I think. Like those are all Operation Rainfall games, games that were brought over from Japan, that because of like a crowd clamor.
Yep, because Nintendo of America were stupid.
But they've never been gaming in general because I think at that time JRPGs were just not like they were just like not large and I don't know that they weren't really brought over as much at that time, if I'm not wrong.
The Wii had nothing though. The Wii was like, you guys don't like RPGs, you guys like Fling Smash.
That's so true. Yeah, unfortunately, last generation was kind of weird for Japanese gaming, not just for RPGs, just in general. Like you had a lot of like Japanese devs that were trying to make games more westernized or Western feeling. That's why, what was it, that DMC reboot exists? Yeah, stuff like that. And
With
yeah,
Dante.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that was definitely a very weird time for Japanese games. And now, granted, there was a lot of good ones that came out, but but compared to like PS2, PS1, and well, even now, like yeah, it's definitely was a very awkward time.
Devils May Cry for all the
I-
wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like Xenoblade Chronicles is one of them.
I'll probably get it.
It's huge. I will say, as one negative, it has the worst side quest system of all time, and I think BioPhoenix was kind of alluding to it. It does give you side quests. They're the definition of laziness. It's like literally, it would be like collect 2 acorns, but it escalates the laziness by you don't even have to go back to the person to turn it in. It just kind of ends as soon as you collect them. It says, here, congratulations, here's $100.
Yeah, no, that is definitely one thing that I wasn't really crazy about. Like, yeah, the side quests were really not that interesting, which is kind of part of the reason why I do want to try The Witcher, because, that is a series I've never played, believe it or not.
Dude.
That also, like, a lot of people say is really good, has a lot of good, like, side quests that have very interesting detail to them that, I've always been curious about, but just never got into it because it was an open world game and I have to be in the right mood for that.
Well, luckily for you, here in the Butt Mappers, we have a map out of The Witcher 3.
Yeah, but don't watch it. Go play the game.
Or do both.
I have some very
watch it.
inspiring things to say during that map out. So
No, it might be one I might watch like later on once I do play it. But
Yeah, that's a good idea because you don't want to spoil like major events. But if you need some pull,
You should
Yeah.
play it ASAP though.
you can also get the games on the GOG storefront. I got like The Witcher 1 and 2 for like $4 when I signed up for an account.
yeah, no, they always have good deals on PC games like that.
But I guess that 3E is when to bargain with.
Yeah.
Spencer, that was a terrible overview of Spectrobes. You said nothing about Spectrobes.
Oh, you want me to talk about Spectrobes? Let me tell you about the worst game I've ever played in my life.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to my game, and this is so while you guys talked about some games that are very big and grand in their own way, I'm gonna talk about one that's big in its heart, kind of like Shadow Heart. Shadow Hearts is big hearts, but this is like one big heart. It's Undertale, and Undertale is one of those games that's like, it's very quirky, it's very interesting, and it's an oddball. So even when you ask the question, Spencer, what was the weirdest game you ever played? It's probably Undertale for me. This is a game where your choices are not always as they seem. And it starts with this plot about a huge war between the humans and the monsters, and the humans eventually driving the monsters to the underworld. And I don't know exactly what the setting is in the beginning. You're like in this house and there's this like goat lady, and she like escorts you down to the underworld and gives you some very strange talks. I didn't fully understand what was going on at first. And as you're brought down to the basement, you find yourself in the underworld. And eventually, to come back up, you have to go through a major confrontation with the king of the monsters and some of his lackeys. And what really distinguishes Undertale is this idea of how you fight. So on the one hand, it has these mid-combat sequences that are very similar to what BioPhoenix was explaining in Shadow Hearts, where you have these little events. So even when you facilitate an attack, you have to like time it on this like horizontal bar, and you're trying to hit it in the center and you get the most damage. But also when you're getting attacked, you have like a little square on the screen, and you play as this miniature heart, and you kind of have to dodge the attacks that the enemies are throwing at you, kind of like a mini spaceship shooter. It's so interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that done, and it's so unique and varied throughout the entire game. The other way that the combat is distinguished is because you have several options and ways to fight. Not just like using magic or attacking, but you can fight, you can act where you can kind of like observe the enemy or even use some in-game items, or you can show mercy and you can take what's called the pacifist route. And it's up to you to determine whether or not you want to attack these monsters or show them mercy. I do want to ask you guys, have any of you finished Undertale?
Yes.
I haven't, but I've played it though.
Okay.
Yeah, I've played through it.
You finished it.
I've played through it. I have not finished it.
Okay.
I think finishing it would require playing multiple times, right?
Ooh, but you've seen an ending.
Yes.
Okay, that's where I'm at too. I've only seen one ending. And I don't want to spoil it, but as you come towards the end of the game, there's sequences where if you kill off these monsters, it affects the route that you see. And I took this violent route where I attacked everything, and you gain something called XP and love as you kill these monsters. And by the end of the game, there's a sequence that makes you consider, the route that you've taken. And, for Chris's sake, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to say too much, but
It's okay. So a friend of mine like spoiled the game for me, so it's cool. I already know it.
okay.
Yeah,
so
I'll get more into that, but you talk.
if you'd like, close your ears, and if you're listening, do the same. Maybe skip a minute. But there's this moment in the game where you're left to consider how much XP and how much love you've gained over the course of the game, and then you're revealed that both are acronyms for things that you might not expect. Experience is not what XP stands for. It's execution points, and love is like level of violence. And then the guy who's telling you, his name is Sans. He's the skeleton. He's telling you to consider all the XP and the love that you've gained, and it's going to drastically affect the next thing that happens. And he's like, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you learn from it. I was like, this is so deep. This is so deep for a game that's apparently almost entirely created by one person. And I know there's supposed to be like quote unquote good and bad endings. I probably got what's called a bad ending, but I still think it was such a cool ending. And it was like a crazy difficult boss battle too. Like and it was bizarre. There were like crazy things happening on screen. I don't even want to you guys can tell me about your endings too, but I didn't think it was bad in the slightest, although I knew I was going for an ending that was like not preferable. So, I just remember just my jaw on the floor the whole time I was fighting this final boss. And it was even though it's a weird game, it was a game that made me think deeply about it and, was also just really engaging throughout. It took a little warming up to, but I'm glad I played Undertale and got an ending. So it's Undertale.
Yeah, without sounding too snobby, and this is going to sound snobby, but I'll try to undo that. Spectrobe's the shit. No, what I would say is Undertale.
Wow. I'm just going to shit all over my heart like that, Spencer.
Yes. What I would say
Terrified.
about Undertale is that it is a gamer's game. It's like I made the mistake of like way back. I played this like 5 years ago or something. Whenever it first came out, I played this game, and I could say I would not recommend somebody who's like not a gamer to play this game because they're not going to understand. They're not going to understand it, and they're definitely not going to appreciate kind of what's going on here. It's not like a bad thing for them. It's just like there's a lot. You have to have kind of be like a well-worn RPG fan or a well-worn gamer to like understand why XP, like why that's a thing that is like different. XP is, and you can't just play like one RPG and get it. It's like, no, you're like ingrained to think XP is good.
Right.
And therefore, when you're going through it, you're like, oh, cool, I got to rack up the points. And then you got it. And that's when you know. Okay. So definitely recommend this more to the hardcore gamers, not new people, because they do not appreciate or understand that. And the graphics are
Yeah, they're pretty
Nah.
muddy.
Yeah.
Mutant muddy, some might say.
Yeah.
They're charming.
I don't even know if
Yeah.
I would call it that.
You know what's charming though is the music, and
Oh.
it's also composed by the guy who made the game,
Be Fox, right? That's the guy's name.
Fox, right? Toby Fox. And I'm just scrolling through the OST on YouTube. Every song has over 4 million views.
Wow.
That's great.
This game has an audience, and I'm glad that it's accessible. I played it on Nintendo Switch. It's also on PC. Not really sure about other means. I think you can get it on PS4.
Yeah, you can.
So, I mean, and I would contest Spencer on that because I think, people who are not gamers might be interested in it as well for its concept, for its, uniqueness. And also you play as a little girl. So like, that's kind of cute.
You play as the gender is not specific.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Mm.
But I think the graphics kind of look like dog shit.
But you're not a fan of that style anyway, Spencer. So
Well, I was kind of thinking the same thing, is that it doesn't really look great compared to other games. You could tell you're playing an indie game,
Yeah.
but it's not the selling point, obviously. And there's the selling point is a huge selling point. You just don't get stuff this pure, this raw, and this like,
Yeah.
and wrapped up in what appears to be like kind of a kid's RPG game. You could tell the influences. Like, I mean, you could tell it's very Earthbound-esque.
Yeah.
In this idea of just being unique, and I even in the graphics, kind of. But Undertale,
Sans for Smash.
Sands of Time.
Yeah. No, I've played Undertale like once before. My experience of it was very weird though, for my case. Was that so I got it because a friend of mine was telling me about it and was like overhyping it, saying it was like one of the greatest games ever. So I bought it on Steam when it went on sale because at the time that was the only platform it was on. And I was playing it. I was like, okay, this is kind of neat. I kind of like it so far. I really like the battle system of, like you said, with the whole bullet hell thing, with like a shoot up. I love that aspect a lot. And the music was great. But the thing, and okay, this wasn't the game's fault. This is more like my friend's fault. But they were kind of like backseat gaming me how to play the game. Like they kept telling me to like, oh, like don't kill things, blah blah blah. Like you want to like run away from enemies all the time. And I was just getting annoyed at that. And eventually I was just like, okay, this game's like kind of boring if I'm just playing it just like this. So yeah, unfortunately I never went back to it since then, but I have been meaning to. It's just I kind of forget that I have it because it's in my Steam library and it's not installed, so I tend to just forget that it's there. But yeah, I do have it though. And yeah, like I said, now that I'm not even friends with that person anymore, I can probably appreciate it a lot more now because
Yeah, I can totally relate with that. It's actually a friend of mine who ruined Miyazaki films for me. I just don't like those are so overhyped to me, and it's not that I think they're bad. When I'm talking about Studio Ghibli films.
Oh, I know a lot about that. Yeah.
It's just he would not shut up about them, and it really drove me insane. He would like stop every 5 minutes of a movie and be like, "Isn't this animation amazing?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, it's okay." Like, so. But yeah, I'd say take it at your own pace because, like, the same thing. I think Alex was trying to give me advice on how to play too, and I rejected it. I didn't go for a good ending, but I still really enjoyed my time with it too. And Alex, you definitely weren't nagging me through it, so don't take offense at that.
I just gave you a tip for, I think the most enjoyment.
The only tip I need is for Sonic CD, but anyways. So I don't understand what the hell's going on in that.
Do you know who got me to play that game? It was Ultimate Floyd.
Oh.
I saw his video on it, and somebody else had mentioned it too, and I was like, okay, if Ultimate Floyd says, and I watched his video, and it was like, okay, it's pretty.
He's very critical too of a lot of games.
He is. So
for him to speak positively of it's a good sign.
Yeah. So thank you, Ultimate Floyd.
Undertale is a console.
Maybe Toby Fox can make the next console.
Yeah,
Didn't he make like a follow-up game or some little game afterwards, like a
He-
little mini game?
yeah, he made a like a really old like style game where you actually have to click on like an exe file to boot it up.
He's funny.
Yeah, I forget the name of it there, but yeah, it was just a little demo thing that was supposed to promote the upcoming project, which I still haven't heard much about, but you know.
I have it here. Deltarune. Is that it?
That maybe might be it. Like I said, I can't remember the name.
I thought it was called Spectrobes.
No, that's
What?
something that Alex likes.
Oh, yeah. I should have known. It
What?
sounds bad.
Find me a clip of me saying the words "I" and then followed by "love" and then
Clue Land, end of Game Talk. Great episode, guys.
stuff.
Great to have you on, Bio Phoenix. It's been a pleasure. We're glad we brought real expert on for JRPGs. Bio Phoenix, have you ever played this game? It's called Clue Land for the NES.
Oh, I have. I've played it. It's okay.
You're doing it too nicely. You can speak iller of Clue Land.
Yeah. It's just the name, you know? Like, what's a clue? Like, a clue.
Oh, it's more than the name. It's pretty awful.
maybe it's an abbreviation.
If Clue Land was an acronym, what would the clue stand for? Columns.
Columns loving.
Undertale. No.
Okay, no, I got a good one for you. It would be uneducated.
Ooh. The column loving uneducated. Nice.
Oh, I'm so mean.
You can be mean to Clue Land. We won't hold it against you.
Fuck with Land.
Whoa. Hey, we don't
Now,
say
Alex-
that about Clue.
Alex, I'm going to be your therapist for today. We want to know. We're going to sit you down with Clue Land, and we want you to both express your feelings at this time. Alex, can you talk to us about how you're feeling about Clue Land?
Well, it all started when I was born.
There I was.
And there I was, back in the womb days.
There was my first console, the NES.
The Fisher Price piano, Papa piano.
Mom had come home from work that day.
Why are you filling in my story?
Oh,
He knows
I
more
was
about your story than you do yourself.
giving you inspiration. I'm secretly Alex's biggest fan.
Since this is the RPG episode, I'm actually a teen boy with amnesia, so I don't remember anything, guys.
It's all coming back to him.
Just a lot of
Pretty common
ellipses.
trope.
Oh my gosh, that's right. I did own Clue Land on the Virtual Console.
No, my dark past. It can't be.
Chris, good job. You've made it through our trial by Game Talk.
Yeah, no, it was fun. No, I like it. It was really fun, really funny, and I like all the different stuff we've talked about. Very good questions, and I'll probably post a question whenever this gets popped up. I don't know on what, but we'll see when I think about it.
Is it going to involve Spencer or Spectrobes?
Probably not.
Oh my gosh, I owe you a question. I remember it too, because you asked this last time, and I forgot to ask because you asked two questions.
Okay. Oh, I think I remember the question.
It was something to do with commercials.
Yeah,
Favorite
like,
game commercial.
video game commercial.
Do you have one in mind?
I got a couple. I mean, I always thought the one for like Luigi's Mansion was very weird and interesting.
With the girl on the couch?
Yeah, you remember. Yeah, the girl on the couch, and he looks into like the cube necklace, and he sees like the ghost face. I always thought it was just really weird for like, a commercial for like a Mario game or a Luigi game, but I always remembered it.
I don't know if I have that many I remember. It's just been so long since I watched TV. I guess I like the Recently, I've been liking the Animal Crossing commercials on like Hulu. They're not like that great or anything, but like it's nice to see gaming still has like paid for commercials.
I actually didn't even know that Animal Crossing had a commercial.
It's very like Nintendo Direct-ish, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Like, hi, I'm Bill. And I'm going to be talking to you about Animal Crossing for the Nintendo Switch. I don't know. It's like here on Animal Crossing, you can fish all your worries away. Like I don't know.
I forgot the name of it. I think it's Tumblestone. It's a puzzle game. It's like an indie puzzle game. It's on like Switch and stuff. Its commercial is very like in your face, like we have 160 levels. This guy, that. And one of the features is that you can play as a sausage. So multiple times during the commercial, he just goes, "And you can play as a sausage." So I just have that ingrained in my brain now. I'm always like, you can play as a sausage.
Remember that, Terry.
Play as a sausage.
I won't say why. But anyways. And we got one more Spencer.
Oh, you want me to answer the commercial question?
Yes, sir. And why is it... Never mind.
Spectrums.
Does that have to be like on TV?
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. There are a bunch of 90s, like especially Nintendo ads that just haven't aged very well. Look up any of them for like the Game Boy or something. There's some really bad ones out there. I think there's one that talks about like erections or something. It's pretty great.
All right.
Did we just lose?
Favorite gaming commercials.
We just lose BioPhoenix?
I think so.
No.
Well, it's a good thing it's in the episode.
Okay, we'll have him phone in. See if we can get him back.
Play us out, Spencer.
You know what we should? You don't need me to play you guys out. You guys are the rap superstars. Your video came out. Your big
I don't want
debut.
all the fame and fortune I've been getting. I like to be humble.
Dead Thumb Gamers says you guys are the #1 rap artists in America.
Really? I doubt it. I'm not that good.
Clue. And I'm here to clue. I like the clue.
Yeah,
Go
you guys,
into
you
clue.
guys should do a Clue Land rap next.
No.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.